Good evening. This is Liam, the author of the Babe Ruth Bucket Myths and Truths of Tax-Free Retirement. We want to talk tonight a little bit about, we're going to do a couple of different things. I want to share with you tonight on the two participants, which is going to be for people that are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s that are currently in a 401k or thinking about getting a 401k. Yes? And then the other one I'm going to do tonight, the second segment, is going to be on what if I already have one and I'm getting ready to make a decision on what to do. How do I clean the taxes out? We're going to do that one. It'll be our second segment. But I highly recommend that both of you that are here tonight, different type of clientele base, would listen to both. Because if you're a young person just starting out, you're going to want to know what happens down the road that they don't tell you about until it's too late. And so we're going to do that. Well, then those of you that have already have your 401k, it's already out there, you say, I don't know if I'll enjoy the first segment. I think you will, because you're going to be able to tell your children and your grandkids, hey, don't, you got to think about watching this, because I don't think you should be doing a 401k. So tonight we're going to go over a couple of different things. We're going to talk about the different options and different ways to do something a little bit different, maybe a little bit out of the ordinary. But we're going to show you that tonight. I hope you enjoy that. Now, if you're here and you're live tonight, put hashtag live. If you're watching on replay, hashtag replay. And then those of you that are interested in some things later on, we're going to do a intermission, and at the intermission, we're going to say goodbye to the agents that are here training tonight, and they will go on about their night, and the rest of you will get to stay. You get a little extra bonus time with me. We're going to show you how to possibly implement what you're learning tonight, and help work with the agents that brought you. I know Colleen has got a bunch of dental hygienists and dentists and things like that with us tonight. I know Aldo, who specializes in special needs trust funding, he's here this evening. I think his attorney is on as well, and my mind's not working tonight. I would mention her name, but we will later in the next segment, I'm sure. I know Mr. Swanson's out there, Dan's out there, Heather's out there, a lot of other people. I don't have all the names in front of me that we're going to be doing a special segment just for your people here in the next 20 minutes. Well, I'm going to finish up with this. Like I said, it'll be about 20 minutes, tell you a little bit about the tale of two participants, and then we will share how to turn $200,000 401k into a tax-free $1 million in 45 seconds. So we'll show you how to do that as well, and we'll get going. So let's start with what I normally get from people is they will say to me, Liam, they'll say, what is the best way to explain the stock market? Because I don't understand it. And I said, well, I'm a big believer in complexity is the enemy of execution. Yes? Good evening. This is Liam, the author of the Babe Ruth Bucket Myths and Truths of Tax-Free Retirement. We want to talk tonight a little bit about, we're going to do a couple of different things. I want to share with you tonight on the two participants, which is going to be for people that are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s that are currently in a 401k or thinking about getting a 401k. Yes? And then the other one I'm going to do tonight, the second segment, is going to be on what if I already have one and I'm getting ready to make a decision on what to do. How do I clean the taxes out? We're going to do that one. It'll be our second segment. But I highly recommend that both of you that are here tonight, different type of clientele base, would listen to both. Because if you're a young person just starting out, you're going to want to know what happens down the road that they don't tell you about until it's too late. And so we're going to do that. Well, then those of you that have already have your 401k, it's already out there, you say, I don't know if I'll enjoy the first segment. I think you will, because you're going to be able to tell your children and your grandkids, hey, don't, you got to think about watching this, because I don't think you should be doing a 401k. So tonight we're going to go over a couple of different things. We're going to talk about the different options and different ways to do something a little bit different, maybe a little bit out of the ordinary. But we're going to show you that tonight. I hope you enjoy that. Now, if you're here and you're live tonight, put hashtag live. If you're watching on replay, hashtag replay. And then those of you that are interested in some things later on, we're going to do a intermission. And at the intermission, we're going to say goodbye to the agents that are here training tonight. And they will go on about their night. And the rest of you will get to stay. You get a little extra bonus time with me. We're going to show you how to possibly implement what you're learning tonight and help work with the agents that brought you. I know Colleen has got a bunch of dental hygienists and dentists and things like that with us tonight. I know Aldo, who specializes in special needs trust funding. He's here this evening. I think his attorney is on as well. And my mind's not working tonight. I would mention her name, but we will later in the next segment, I'm sure. I know Mr. Swanson's out there. Dan's out there. Heather's out there. A lot of other people. I don't have all the names in front of me that we're going to be doing a special segment just for your people here in the next 20 minutes. Well, I'm going to finish up with this. Like I said, it'll be about 20 minutes, tell you a little bit about the tale of two participants, and then we will share how to turn $200,000 401k into a tax-free $1 million in 45 seconds. So we'll show you how to do that as well, and we'll get going. So let's start with what I normally get from people is they will say to me, they'll say, Liam, they'll say, what is the best way to explain the stock market? Because I don't understand it. And I said, well, I'm a big believer in complexity is the enemy of execution. Yes. And so what I try to do is keep it simple, stupid. I'm not saying that any of you are stupid. That's just the way I like to learn. I don't need all this mumbo jumbo stuff. Right? I don't need, Kramer smacking around his big horn thing and telling you to join his investment club when he's one of the worst advisors on the planet. But he uses CSNBC to promote him. And you got Dave Ramsey, you got Susie Orman, you got Clark Howard. All of those people generally just believe in what they teach. I believe in learning from different people, different aspects, and different ideals. Dave Ramsey, for instance, would tell you to live off your income after you're debt free. And your income is your powerful source that's going to make you into a millionaire. I don't believe that at all. Rich Dad, Poor Dad doesn't believe that. He believes that you use debt to leverage debt to create massive amount of income through debt. I believe that debt freedom is awesome, but I don't believe in just your own income. I believe in passive income. So there's three different ideas, three different views. The problem is that Dave Ramsey believes it's his way or the highway. He could care less what I say or what Rich Dad, Poor Dad says. He doesn't care. He thinks there's only one way and one shoe that fits everybody, and he's wrong. And tonight, I'm going to show you that he's wrong. And the other thing that you already know, because you see that I've done many videos where me and Dave go head to head, and Dave believes, that his ways is the right way, and I think Dave tells a lot of half truths if he tells any. And so tonight you're going to get a pretty neat scenario on how the 401k works and what is an alternative. And the alternative, of course, is what? The Babe Ruth bucket. Okay. So we're going to go over that tonight. Let's start with the tale of two participants. So people will come to me and they'll say, well, how do you explain the stock market? Say, well, the easiest way to explain it is you give me $1. So they'll give me $1 and I'll give them a $5 bill. So now you made 500% or 5-to-1 return. Yes. Well, yeah, that's pretty simple. And then the guy next to him will say, hey, let me see how that works. Well, you have a $10 bill. He gives me a $10 bill and I give him a 20. You're up 2-to-1, 200%. You made 500%. He made 200%. Now, what are the odds that he would trade you his 20 for your $5 bill? Probably, I'll bet you $1 to a donut. He doesn't want to trade you at all. He's going to keep his 2-to-1 because he made a lot more than you did. But you're going to say, well, how does that got to do with the stock market? Well, usually you're left with your last dollar. And then you make money on what you had left, not what you had to start with. See what I'm saying? So your broker's going to call you and say, what are you all upset about? It's a paper loss. You're up 500%. Well, now you know what that really means, don't you? So let's get started on the tale of two participants. And as you watch the slides, we'll try to help you understand why the 401k is far from being the best option for you at any age. So if we start out with two gentlemen, we're going to have the same two people. We're going to have apples to apples, make it a fair fight. 35 is how old both of them will be. They both have 2 children. Okay. And we're going to do it at an 8% return. Now, Dave would tell you that you get 12%, right? No one's seen Dave's 12%, but Dave swears that you'll get 12% for, on a mutual fund. And doesn't tell you again, what's that? Why is that a half truth? Well, because you can lose 100% of that anytime. Yes. Ask the people that had 401ks in 2008, what happened to their money. Now, your brokers say, oh, they always bring up 2008. I can bring up all kinds of times if you want to, right? Okay. We can bring up last year where you everything they made, they lost in 1 month and started back to zero. So we can play that game if you want to, but let's just go forward with what we're trying to talk about. So we have 2 gentlemen that want to do 2 different things. One wants to do the 401k. One wants to do the Babe Ruth bucket. So the gentleman that does the traditional 401k puts in about $6,500. And boss matches him about $1,000 and some change. So he's going to have about $7,500 and some change in his policy, in his 401k. And then he's going to buy a term policy because that's what Dave, the great guru, tells you, that you need $600,000 or whatever to cover you and for 30 years. And then once you get past that, your children won't be a liability any longer, and you'll be able to move forward. Now, if you don't believe Dave said that, he did say it. It's in my video. I let him talk for himself. And what I do is I tell you that my children and my grandchildren are not liabilities. They're assets to me, but Dave believes that your children are liabilities. So he believes that once they're no longer a liability, you no longer need life insurance. Now, I'm a proponent against that. I think you need it all your life. I have more now than I ever did when I was 18. I'm assuming most of you do as well. Yes. And so let's talk about participant B. Well, he doesn't want to contribute, and his boss doesn't want to contribute to him, but he's not contributing. So the boss isn't going to put anything in it. He doesn't have anything in his 401k. And he puts about, $7,200 in his. And he also buys a $600,000 investment grade life policy, or 7702, or I like to call the Babe Ruth bucket. So he participates in that. Now, some of you asked me the other day, can I do a payroll deduction on a Babe Ruth bucket? You most certainly can. And your boss can match that, by the way. And if he does match it, he can get a piece of the life value if you die. $10,000, I think, if you would, which just seems to be fair, because then he would have money to replace you. And you become just like his partner, you become a key person. Yes. So some of you that are wanting to do that, put down hashtag key person. If you're watching and say, hey, I want to put this in for all my employees and my workforce. This would be a good idea and a good time to do that. And again, remember, if you're watching live, hashtag live, replay, hashtag replay. But again, if you are interested in doing payroll deduction, Babe Ruth bucket, just put hashtag payroll and we'll show you how to do it. It can be done, and your employer can match it. People don't understand. You don't just have, the 401k is not the only option. And we're going to find out why here in a minute. So after 30 years, let's see where we're at. So now they're both 65. The gentleman that started off with the matching 401k and the 401k has $858,000 in his 401k. He was able to cumulatively have a tax savings of $65,000. And you're going to find out how valuable that was when he starts, when he gets ready to pay the taxes on what he saved. And I'll show you that saving $65,000 cost him over $400,000 in taxes here at the end. But let's just hold on to that. But so his benefit was $65,000 in deferral for doing the 401k. All right, let's see how that comes back to bite him here in a minute. So he's got $858,000 in his tax retirement plan. Now the other gentleman has $709,000 in his plan that he did with the Babe Ruth bucket, and he's got $864,000 in living benefits, life benefit, and all kinds of stuff with his Babe Ruth bucket. Yes, okay. No cumulative tax savings at all. Okay. His total retirement part is $709,000. Now you might say, well, the guy with the $858,000, just crushed him. What's your point? What are you trying to show us here? Well, let's take a look at what happens when they start to draw. So the one gentleman wants to draw. They both want to draw $97,000. So I'm doing apples to apples, right? So they both want to draw $97,000. So the guy with the 401k has to draw out $129,000 or $32,000 and some change for tax. Right now, this is where I said earlier. What did I say? He saved $65,000 in tax cumulative, benefit on the 401k. He's paying $32,000 in taxes to use that money every year to get the $97,000. He does that for almost 9 years before it runs out of money, which is, if you do 10 for easy math, that's $320,000 he has to pay in taxes now just to save the $65,000. I'm going to bet you $1 to a donut. No one ever told you that when you were signed up for your 401k, did they? So I'm going to save $65,000 in tax, and I'm going to pay well over $300 when I use it. I'm not doing this. There's nobody that's listening that would do that. Yes, but they didn't tell you. That's why I'm telling you now, and that's why it's important. If maybe you're already out of it, or maybe you're getting ready to decide to do it, or maybe you're somebody that's pre-retiree or already done it, and you're saying, listen, I'm glad I stayed and watched this part, right? Because I can tell my grandkids, you need to watch this because this is devastating. Yes. So in 9 years, the guy that took out $97,000 of his 401k, he's done. No more money, no more anything. So the other gentleman, participant B, who put in money in the Babe Ruth bucket, yeah, he takes out $97,000 tax-free for life. And let's say he does that and dies at 100, then he would have received $3 million plus tax-free. And he's still leaving $3 million to his children or his wife or whoever, or a partner if he did it that way, right? One of his team employees or something, whatever. You can do that too. If you're a dentist, you got 2 dentists listening tonight, and you guys say, man, we need to do that for our thing. And then we have ourselves a buy-sell agreement pretty much already set up. Yes. So those are some of the benefits there, but there's your options. And there's the thing that's going to blow your mind a little bit. You're going to say, well, wow, no one ever told me that. And that's what I'm trying to tell you now is that you either want to have your money for 9 years or you want to have it for life. And it can be passed on to your spouse. I think that's a pretty good option, pretty good deal. The other thing is you get all kinds of benefits with the 7702 or the Babe Ruth bucket or investment grade life insurance. Penalty-free access anytime. There's no market risk. There's a stop loss that comes with it. Locked in gains. It's creditor proof. You don't have to take your RMD out of that once you've got it in there. No Social Security tax trigger. It doesn't affect your Social Security. There's long-term care benefits. There's terminal illness benefits. There's all kinds of other living benefits. You have a non-qualified line of credit. So if he's got $3 million in his policy and he says, listen, I want $1 million, in 3 to 10, 7 days, or 10, usually 7 business days, 7 to 10, you have a check. Now, you don't have to, you're not required to pay that back either. How cool is that? Okay. Unlike a 401k where you have to do that. Yes. So that's a benefit in itself. Okay. So if you have a 401k or you're thinking about doing it, look at this video, look at the book where we talk about the Tale of Two Participants and ask yourself, is it really worth 300-some thousand in taxes just to save 68,000? I don't think so. But they never tell you that when you sit down to do it. Yes. All right. Now we're gonna change course a little bit. We're gonna go to how do you take you already have a 401k and you want to clean it and you want to benefit from that and you want to draw income off of that and you want to draw tax-free income. Well, Ed Slott would agree with me. Ed Slott would tell you that you have at 59.5, that's when you want to start cleaning your 401k or getting the taxes out so you can have it, draw it, use the rest of it. Almost like Rothing an IRA. Yes, really similar. So I'm going to show you if we take $200,000 401k or an IRA, and I'm going to show you what you can do with it in 45 seconds to turn it into $1 million. You ready? Let's do it. So you got $200,000 and you're going to take out 10% a year, which is $20,000. Now, you're going to pay tax on that 20, but it's going to be far less than what you would pay on the 200. You're going to pay it all at some point, but we're going to defer it for 10 years. Yes? So let's do that. And we'll do it in little increments over those 10 years. You're also going to put it in an index account, and you can put it in a money market that's paying 5 or 6%. So if I'm making 6% and I'm losing 10%, my $200,000 is really only going to go down 4%. So I have $120,000 left, even though I put the entire $200,000 through the 7702 funnel, right? I got $1 million in face amount. I get $40,000 tax-free for the rest of my life, and so does my wife. I have 120,000 on my income side that allows me to draw 6, 7, or 8%, and my wife can do the same. Okay. That's a pretty cool idea. Yes. So again, put hashtag funnel and we'll help you show you how to do that. Or hashtag clean my 401k. Also, if you have a 401k tonight and you're sitting somewhere, it's been sitting there for years, get it out of there, move it. Put hashtag move, okay? And do all those kind of things. I think it'll be a big benefit for you if you do that, okay? So these are the two pieces that I wanted you to see tonight. A lot of you were going to say goodbye to some of the people that were training tonight and watching in. I appreciate all that. And we're going to do a 1-minute intermission. Do not go anywhere. Those of you that were invited by somebody or you're one of the clients, because this is Client Appreciation Night, and we're going to do a little bonus segment for you in 1 minute. So we're going to have a 1-minute intermission. We're going to come back and do a little bonus section for you, show you how to do a course of action, how to implement these things, and get yourself in a real good spot and show you exactly how to do this. And the other thing, we're going to open it up for questions as well, and we'll go from there. But again, if you watch this tonight live, put hashtag live. If you watched it on replay, hashtag replay. And we'll see you later. But they're going to do a 1-minute intermission. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back. Thank you so much.
Next time on Frontline, if you have a 401k or an IRA that you're depending on to retire, don't miss this report.
A lot of 401k programs stink.
You put up 100% of the capital, you take 100% of the risk, and you get 30% of the return.
From Wall Street's perspective, 401ks are a fantastic business. This whole thing's a scam and people are really getting hurt.
Frontline investigates.
I'll be working for the rest of my life.
The retirement gamble. Watch online or on air beginning April 23rd.
Hey, Bill, that was a really riveting half hour. Thank you for putting that together. So
we got a little bad weather, so I don't know how we got some storms going on, so I know it was lagging a little bit, but it's our first time, and next time I'll check the weather before I do the program. But anyway, no, I think we did good. I think we have a lot of people. I know we put this out on YouTube and some other places this time around, so it's going to be a lot of fun to see what kind of responses that we get. So the next thing we're going to do is we have a lot of people here from a lot of different groups. I know Colleen's people are out there, Dan's people, Aldo's got some people out here with us. I know you've got some people watching. I know Chris Swanson and Mark Branton, and of course, Bob, I always say his name wrong, Rothenbuehler, I think. He's out there with us tonight, and Marilyn Clark. And if I missed somebody, I apologize. I didn't mean to do so. But again, this is a client appreciation thing. So tonight we're going to try to give you a couple extra bonus things tonight. I know I got a bunch of questions that came through on the emails, and one of them said to me, what is the best way to get started? And the best way to get started is to talk with whoever invited you out here. So like if Colleen invited you and you're a dental hygienist and you'd like to get, some more information and to get moving. I tell people, the biggest problem with trying to make things happen for your retirement is procrastination. The longer that you wait, the longer that the options that you have, because like if you start at a younger age and you wait, those people have a better advantage. You follow me? And so that's what we try to tell people, that get started now. If you enjoyed the video, if you understand, and a lot of people see a lot of things out there on the 401k that bothers them, and so especially if you're thinking about, should I start a 401k, I would say no. Now I had another question saying, so should I quit my 401k and just go ahead and start a Babe Ruth bucket? Well, my answer to that would be, let me give you a great example. I had a gentleman that he was able to move monies out of his 401k. He was vested, but he was putting in X amount of dollars and he was being matched. So he took out 190,000 and put it in the Babe Ruth bucket, and he kept 10,000 in the 401k and kept contributing a little bit, but not as much as he was, because he was overfunding the Babe Ruth bucket. So I would say that's a personal thing if you want to keep it. But again, remember the tax consequences is the big reason why people don't do that. You see what I'm saying? So that would be a reason there. So Heather, did you see? I got some more questions too, but did you see any on your end?
Yes, we have one from Bob, and he wants to know what's the cost of your book for paid members. And I can answer that one.
There you go.
It's free. You just have to log into the paid membership area. And if you need some help getting there, just let me know and I will get you there, Bob. So
well, and let me tag on top of that. If a client or if somebody tonight, does a Babe Ruth bucket, they do something with Bob or they do something with Colleen, we will also give them a book alongside of that. How's that sound?
Amazing.
Pretty good option there. So if you do decide that you want to, and I tell people all the time that the book has got a lot more. I just did 2 things out of the first chapter. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot more stuff in there that I think would be engaging and be something for you to look at. And again, in 6 weeks we're going to be doing another seminar. Now I'm debating. I'm trying to fight back and forth with myself. I think I'm going to do the Babe Ruth and Joe Louis story in 6 weeks. That'll be announced probably in the next week to 10 days. This is our last 6-week seminar for the year, and then next year we'll be doing another one. And I'm pretty positive we're going to do the Babe Ruth bucket, and we'll do the Joe Louis and the Babe Ruth story. And I remember one of my favorite quotes in the book. I got the book right here. One of my favorite quotes is the last quote, and it's from Joe Louis. So I'll give you a little teaser. And Joe Louis said, "The only thing money cannot buy is poverty." So think about that as we look into the future and how we're going to get there. And he would know because Joe lost a lot of things during the Depression. So anywho, I've got another one here. It says, "Am I available to do a Zoom with clients?" And the answer would be yes, or for people that are interested in doing some things and maybe making some changes. We do that all the time. So if somebody would say, "Hey, I want to talk to Liam and I want to talk to Colleen, and that, can we do that together?" That can be done. We've done it several times. It's not a problem for me. We just got to get on the schedule and make that happen. So that would be a very big, I think, a very big option for you if that's something that you're thinking about. What else you got, Colleen or Heather? Any more? I've got another one if you don't have one. I know you're looking through the questions, but I got another one that says, "How do you do payroll deduction with a Babe Ruth bucket?" Well, one of the ways you do that, it's just like a 401k. I'm pretty positive you just have to have one other person. You have to have 2 people to consider it a group. And then, and I love doing, we've done stuff at AK Steel. I've done stuff at Kroger's. I've done stuff at different places where we'll come in and do a 15-minute. Matter of fact, I'm trying to do something with Colleen with some dental hygienists where they do a lunch break for 10 or 15 minutes. I show them how to do this. And then what you can do is you can do the Babe Ruth bucket as a payroll deduction the same way that you would do the 401k. So it isn't that hard. You just got to get one more person, and that's not very difficult once we come in and we show them why it's more important and why it's better than a 401k. So yes, you can do payroll deduction with a Babe Ruth bucket. So that answers that one. What'd you find for me, Heather? Anything? Normally Dan's throwing out some questions.
No, we have about 8 people who are in the private event right now. That there's no other questions then except for your book. I'm trying to scroll through the public event to see if there was any questions maybe I could catch up with.
Like I said, I've got about 4 or 5. So if you don't have any, let me know. And I got 4 or 5 on the email side. So go ahead.
Yeah, I would just say we send our love out to Brenda, who Jerry is having some cancer treatment. So we will send our prayers to you. And otherwise, let's go to the emails.
Well, and let me touch on that for a minute too. If somebody had a situation like a catastrophic illness, or they had a terminal illness or something like that, like in this particular case, and we would definitely throw prayers up for this lady and her family. One of the benefits with a Babe Ruth bucket versus the the 401k, and I think we showed that in the video where it showed you that you have living benefits as well. And so sometimes when you get bad news about cancer or something like that, it doesn't make it any better, but to know you have a big bucket of money that can help you through that situation, I think that's a pretty powerful thing. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I
Got you
mean,
in the middle of your
you know
shake.
what I was going through? You know what I was going through this morning, and the only thing I could think of was my policy does not have living benefits. And people who have known me for a while know that I've struggled through some other health issues that prohibited me from getting a policy. But I think I'm at a point where I can get something that is fully underwritten, but at least it'll get approved. So no
Well,
more
and that's
scares.
that is a good thing because it makes you think about it. And like I remember somebody telling me one time that he couldn't get insurance any longer because he had cancer, and he said, the first thing I thought of was I can't buy anymore. And they said then the second thing I thought of was why didn't I buy more before? And so a lot of people think this is just about insurance. It's not. To me, I tell people that investment grade insurance and Babe Ruth bucket and all that, it's nothing more than a love letter to your family in most cases. And I'm also an advocate of buying insurance on your parents. And I believe that if you do it at a young enough age, my wife's 47 and her children put $100 in a bucket, the four of them, and they got a pretty decent policy on her. And if she passes away, they'll have that money to split amongst themselves tax free. But if she gets into a situation where she needs some kind of care, then they can use half of that money while she's alive to help her. Because a lot of people don't realize that money's got to come from somewhere. And a lot of times it's the family coming together and dipping in their pocketbooks and trying to help that other family member. The thing
Yep.
the thing I don't think people understand is that everybody that I've ever dealt with in the 30 years that I've done this, whenever there's a circumstance, whenever a spouse is sick or a spouse is passing away, the other spouse will give up everything they have to make sure that individual lives comfortable and dies at peace. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
And the person that is the individual that's being taken care of will tell you that I don't want that. I don't want you to spend all the money because there'll be no money when I'm gone for you to live on. And they do it anyway. And it's because they're not prepared. And you know me, I don't pull any punches. I'm telling you, if you don't have your house in order, it's going to come to an order at some point, and it's going to be somebody else's responsibility. It's Christmas time, yes? And every time I'm at church on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, I go to church. What do you think happens? There's always somebody who didn't have renter's insurance or some kind of insurance, and their house burned down, and they lost all the Christmas gifts for all their kids. And I put a little bit in the bucket like everybody else. Now, most of you know I do a 1,000 Toys for Christmas project. We've done that for 32 years, so we do much more than that. But on this particular day, I'll throw an extra couple bucks in there so they don't miss their Christmas. But I also will think to myself, and this isn't anything that I don't think a lot of people think of. I got insurance to protect my possessions. If my house burns down, why didn't they? It's only $15. And I tell people that's the same thing with term insurance. Just because I'm not a big fan of Dave Ramsey doesn't mean I'm not a fan of term insurance, because I think you should have both. But I think you should have a Babe Ruth bucket, which is going to give you the tax-free retirement, and then I always say check the box, have a term policy that's a lot bigger for 30 years that'll cover you and give you the different things that you need. But it's amazing to me how many people don't understand that it's not a big cost. And back to the individual that the house burnt down, had they just had a $15 renter's policy, right, that everything would have been taken care of. And I'm not saying that I'm not sensitive to the fact that not everybody can do that. I understand that. But I also am sensitive to the fact that a lot of people think that a life insurance policy is all done through what's that thing you do on the internet where people GoFundMe? They think that's the insurance policy.
Yep.
GoFundMe, you know, and it just, and we just had we've had a lot of deaths in our family this last 5 months. We lost my sister, my aunt, my uncle just passed away 2 days ago. My stepkid's dad passed away. My wife's dad passed away. It just keeps going. And one of the incidents that we have with my uncle, we were just talking about how he needed to get. He's 70 years old. They don't think he's a bachelor. He didn't think much about it. But now we're in a box where we have to pay for his cremation, the whole family. We have to do some other things for him. He's got a lot of things out there that he didn't have tidied up. And it happens even in my family. You say, well, you're the author of the Babe Ruth Bucket. How could that happen to your family? Well, not everybody listens to me. You know, most of our family has their stuff in order. I know all my kids do. I know a lot of my friends do, right? But some people, they leave some loose ends. And if you're one of those people tonight, don't be that person. Put hashtag Colleen, hashtag Dan, hashtag Bob, hashtag Chris Ronson, hashtag Mark. Whoever brought you tonight, tell them, hey, I want to talk. I want to get this taken care of. And the 401k is going to be devastating to you, but it's going to be devastating to you when it's too late. Yes?
Yep.
And you're doing the right thing by adding some things to your policy. But I want to touch something real quick. Somebody asked me one time, well, I really like the Babe Ruth Bucket, but maybe they're in your situation, Heather. But here's the problem: they didn't get a good report. They can't get a Babe Ruth Bucket, but they really want to do that retirement side of it. And they said, what else can I do? Well, let me give you an example. I had a guy call in, one of our agents across the country, and he had a gentleman that had $2.5 million. Now, not everybody here doesn't have $2.5 million. Some people have more, some people have less. And I will tell you this, and that's one of the things that I pride myself in. I don't care if you got $1,000 or you got $20 million. I'm going to treat you the same. And most of my clients will tell you that. And I've got over 3,500 in the last 30 years that will tell you that he never treats me any different. I treat you like it's your money, right? I don't care how much it is. It's yours. We got to protect it. And so in this particular case, this guy had 2.5 million, and he said, I want to put it all in an IUL for him. I want to put it in a Babe Ruth Bucket. I said, well, why would you do that? He's 57 years old. I said, why wouldn't you take 250,000 and put it in 10 other people's names? Put it in your grandkids, his children, because the cost of insurance will be less, and they'll have immediate access to the cash, right? And he can ladder that. He can do whatever he wants. He's the owner, so he owns all the cash. So if you're not healthy and you want to do the retirement side of it, you can still do it. You just pick a different conduit. And I would pick the youngest grandchild that you have. And that would make it easier in the cost of insurance, and you'd have instant access. Walt Disney did this. The Rockefellers did this, right? Babe Ruth did this, hence the book, right? There's a lot of people out there. I will tell you this. If I could tell anybody anything that's listening tonight, and I know in the replay, there'll be a lot more people too. I want you to understand something. If you just Google, do millionaires own a 401k? What do you think it's going to say? Absolutely not. They do not like them. They will not participate in them, and they think they're junk. Now, your guru, Dave Ramsey, thinks they're awesome. Well, you know how I feel about Dave, and you've seen the videos. If you haven't, go to our website and watch the video where Dave versus Liam, and you'll see his ideal versus my ideal head to head. The difference is he's kind of, I don't know what word to use. I don't want to offend anybody, but he's kind of an ass, and he does it himself. And I don't do anything. I just let him talk, and then I come on afterwards and I show you how that works. And anyway, so those are some of the things. I got one or two more questions. I got one. Let's see here. I don't know if I got it. Let's see. I did the what if you're not healthy. I got one here that says that if how soon can I start taking money out of my Babe Ruth Bucket? And the answer to that is depends on how you overfund it. Yes. So if you overfund it, like let me give you a great example. I had a gentleman that was an engineer, and I learn from my clients. I'm always coachable. And I remember him saying to me, he said, well, when my variable life insurance policy gets back to normal, I'm going to move it. I don't care if it keeps going up. As soon as I get back to where I lost, I'm going to move it. So he called me up and said he had $400,000. He was going to convert that into a Babe Ruth Bucket, which isn't a variable, right? It's got a stop loss. It goes up When everything goes down, it stays still. When it goes up, it keeps going up, never goes backwards. And he said, so I'm going to dump in $400,000 into that, and I'm going to pay $100,000 a year for the next 7 years. Now, he read my book, and he liked my book, and he said, I said, just give me a little bit. I kind of knew why he was doing the big dump in, but I said, why are you doing the dump in? He said, well, the dump in, if you dump in a big bunch of money to start with, like if you get an inheritance, for instance, instead of blowing that, which 90% of the people blow all their inheritance within 6 months of the individual's death. And the reason being is why, Heather? Because it's not their money, right? So they just blow it. And I just, oh, I hate when that happens, but they do it all the time. And so anyway, so this gentleman told me, he said, listen, I'm bypassing all the fees and charges by overfunding it first, not last. So he took out all the charges immediately on that big dump in. Now, for the next 7 years, he put another $100,000 in the policy. He gets muscular dystrophy. He dies. His wife gets $77,000 a year tax-free for the rest of her life. How cool is that? Pretty cool.
That's amazing.
So I don't want people thinking here that this stuff doesn't work, because it does. There's a lot of stories I could tell you, and there's a lot of things where this thing benefits a whole lot of people. And my biggest problem with the 401k, and here's the thing that'll really get people's attention. The guy that invented the 401k hates the 401k. How's that for weirdness, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to get, there's other things I can tell other people that have started things and they've changed their mind. But let's just stay on the topic. But this gentleman, and you can look him up, he does, he said it's trash. He wished he never would have created it, because it benefits only two people. It benefits the government and it benefits the stockbroker. Yes. And that leads me to my last question. I knew there was another one I missed. Somebody said, how do you move an old 401k, and why would you move it? Well, the reason why is because nobody's watching it, right, Heather? It just, nobody cares. The broker over there is just making fees and changing things around and getting what he wants. Now, if it's laying there, you don't have to worry about keeping it in a 401k. You can roll it over into an IRA, right? So you can call Heather, or you can call Colleen, or whoever brought you tonight, Chris Swanson or Mark, or whoever, or one of Mark's people, because Mark's got a lot of people watching tonight. If they brought you on, go ahead and have them move that. And I recommend you move it immediately, because that it's probably doing nothing but losing money. Now, I'm going to give you one last thing, and then Heather, we can call it a night if there's nobody else left. But I want to tell you this. The last time that Warren Buffett moved a whole bunch of money, what happened? The market crashed, did it not? He just moved.
That was the.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, wasn't that 2008 when the housing?
Oh, don't say 2008. The brokers hate that. Don't say that. That doesn't happen anymore. Well, last year, everything the market made, lost it all in one day on the last year of the day last year, on the last day of the year last year, lost everything that the market made. But we won't want to talk about 2008. I can talk about everything. But Warren Buffett moved a ton of money, 70%. He's just now moved, 28 point some billion? Just telling you, I don't think 2024 is going to be a good year. And I think we're going to see the recession, which we already all know we're already in it. I think we even put a post on there today showing people, I always do little funny things because, Drew likes to do the little comical stuff. And we did a little thing with the Home Alone kid, how much he bought groceries for way back 20 some years ago, what those groceries cost today. So inflation is a big part of the problem as well. If you already know that, you're probably all in. But hey, I really appreciate doing this tonight. I hope you all enjoyed it. We're going to be back in 6 weeks. Like I said, I'm leaning towards doing the Joe Louis Babe Ruth story and then open this up again. This is again, probably had a little bit of technical difficulty tonight. And if we did, we apologize. That's all Heather's fault. So you can send her all the mean and nasty emails. No, it's Colleen's fault. That's what I meant to say.
Oh, no, send them to me. I'll read them while I'm on the beach drinking a Mai Tai.
You're rotten. All right. What else we got, if anything?
I want to say thank you to some of the people that stuck with us. Bob and Colleen and George and Dan, who says that he's living proof of not getting life insurance soon enough. And Aldo, who said my favorite thing, life insurance is go fund yourself, not go fund me. And Shamar, who joined us on this part.
And I think I missed Marilyn. Marilyn Clark, I think, is on here too. Marilyn's a sweetheart, and I apologize if I
Yep.
missed her. And there's Aldo's attorney. I couldn't remember earlier, and I still can't remember. I know Aldo will know who it is, but Aldo's doing something real special. We talked about that the other day. A lot of people on here are doing some special things. Aldo does the special needs funding for special needs children, and I think do we have his? I think we have his live on our site. I don't know. If not, we need to get it on there so people can watch it. But we have American Retirement Coach for you people that are watching as spectators tonight. And of course, you can watch the different things on like Colleen has her own thing for dentists, and everybody's got a group. But we're doing this for the American Retirement Coach, which is me. And we also have some other stuff that we do as well. But Heather, you did a wonderful job. Thank goodness you got good news today. God is good, even to those that don't know who he is. So I know you do. Yes. And it's wonderful that we got good news and a good report for you. And I appreciate you announcing that prayer request for that family. I hope that everybody says a little prayer for them as well.
Yep. And thank you, Drew, for sticking around. I know you were super busy tonight, so helping us through everything.
Drew's at a concert or something for his kids. So I applaud him because a lot of people, like I said, I did watch those videos. We had to put one on one time where the kids don't think their parents are there, and then they see them and they get all crazy. It's pretty cool. But and George, you mentioned George, my buddy George. He helped us with a lot of this tonight, and he did a great job. George does a lot, and Zach, we better say something. Zach's got my grandson, Samuel. He helps. I think Samuel does most of the work. He's only, I think, 6 or 7 months old, but I think he does most of the work because I always hear him in the background. So I know Zach will take credit for it, but I think it's my grandson Samuel. But, anywho.
Yeah, I know he approves the artwork in the new book. I've had this conversation. Yeah. Like, if he doesn't put his thumbs up, forget it. The artwork doesn't go.
Yeah, Samuel is on that. And that's a good news. We've got the second book of the selection of the Babe Ruth Buckets coming out. And then we got the third and fourth book should be out by the end of January. So we should have all 4 books of the series will be out. And of course, we'll be doing stuff. The next one is the Truths and Myths of Reverse Mortgage and Reverse Purchase. The third one is my favorite because I didn't even know this until I was doing the research. But Babe Ruth also did some pretty good estate planning. That book is going to be Truths and Myths of estate planning failures. And then the fourth one is going to be about how to make your whole life tax-free and all that good stuff. So those books will be out. And then we made a big announcement, I think 2 weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, where we signed a national agreement with a group, Mr. Drigger's group, and we're going to be doing one of my motivational books, The Exception to the Rule, plenty of explanation life, but no excuses. So that's going to be coming out. And so we got a lot of big projects. And so Heather needs a couple more things on her plate. So I thought I would add that to her agenda. So anyway. So you can sign us off, Heather, if we're good to go.
All right. We are good to go. See you guys all next time.